He's about to be knighted, is he?
No way. Well, hello and welcome to the Shallow Proclamation. My name's Thomas.
And my name's Paul.
Oh, your voice cracked a little bit there.
I know, it's just...
It's alright, puberty's a natural process.
Just arrived, so...
Yeah, some people take longer than others.
Yeah, I'm getting this strange downy hair appearing on my chest. Is that normal?
Yeah, maybe stop there. Well, it's good to see you again, Paul. It's actually, I mean, there hasn't been a gap in the release of the YouTube videos because we schedule them and record them in advance, but it's actually been over a week since we've recorded together, I think. So
yeah, that's true.
So that was fun to do an in-person one, but we're back to the Zoomies, I'm afraid.
Just the reality of life, isn't it?
That's it.
And yeah, so when we did our last one, it was a bit ad hoc. Hence, I hadn't had a chance to look up any info about this story.
Yeah, so go on then. Give us some info.
So this was actually, I mean, we've watched The Lion already, so this should have really been to do with the last episode. But I hadn't realised it had been lost for so long. So we know that there's 2 episodes out of 4 exist. But The Lion, episode 1, was found in New Zealand by film collector Bruce Grenville sometime well before 1998 and languished amidst Grenville's vast 16mm film collection for several years. In 1998, Doctor Who fan Neil Lambus asked Grenville if he had any Doctor Who film in his collection, and when Grenville said he had something called The Lion, Lambus realised he might have a missing episode. He brought his friend Paul Scoons to Grenville's home to videotape the screening, just in case Grenville had the real episode. After it was determined that Grenville's print was genuine, he readily agreed to have it sent to the BBC for copying. Scoon shipped it to the BBC Film and Videotape Library, and in 1999 the BBC made a digi-beta print of The Lion and returned the original print to Grenville. The story of the recovery of The Lion generated a great deal of press interest in the United Kingdom. As a result, Bruce Grenville appeared on one of BBC One's most watched programmes, one of the variations of the National Lottery draws, to tell his tale. To date, The Crusade remains the only second season story to have missing episodes. Huh. So, you know, I kind of assumed that I knew there were 2 episodes missing from this. I just assumed that the 2 remaining had always been knocking around. But clearly, the one we watched last week, it didn't really turn up until found before 1998, but didn't get returned to the BBC in any way until after that. And created a bit of a storm, you know. And it gives me hope. That one day, you know, someone might find something else. Someone might have something knocking around in an attic somewhere or sitting somewhere that no one has looked at. And, you know, I'm sure what will happen is that someone will pass away and family come to go through their stuff. And, you know, all these old reels of film and tape that Dad kept or something. And what are they? And maybe someone will find a Doctor Who. Who knows? So it has happened. It's happened before. It's happened with this one. It's happened with other stories as well, that they've just sort of turned up all of a sudden. As
time progresses, it gets better and better to be a Doctor Who fan. I suppose unless you had actually grown up with watching it on TV and so you saw all those missing episodes like Marco Polo and stuff while they were broadcast. But now, as time goes on, you know, 98, that's the year before I was born, it's likely that more will be discovered in our lifetimes. So it's actually getting better and better. To be a Doctor Who fan. We're putting more and more pieces of the puzzle back together. And
even though you could have, you know, like you say, you could have watched these as they went out, probably at the time, none of us would have grasped the significance of them. And, you know, it's a case of you don't know what you've got till it's gone. And then when it's gone and it gets returned, I think for a lot of Doctor Who fans, that makes you go, oh, this is brilliant, you know.
Yeah. Why was it that the web planet got to survive, Paul?
Yeah, there were some questions that need to be asked somewhere. So,
well, so that was the story just before this one. But we've seen one episode of The Crusade so far, and we liked it, didn't we? This feels like we're back on track with series 2.
Yeah, I was just thinking actually, I was putting together the info about this story. I have it all in one document, each series, so season 2. And so every time I open it, it says at the top, Planet of Giants. And I was just thinking, like, Planet of Giants feels so long ago, and it feels like the show has changed drastically since then, even though I suppose it's really just Susan who's gone. Just the show just feels like it's moved on.
Yeah.
Are we going to watch it at 1.5 to...
Yeah, I think we should. Oh, I'm looking forward to hearing the theme at 1.5 times speed.
Yeah, here we go. Oh man, this is a proper banger at this speed.
Oh yeah. You can imagine like a metal band playing this, can't you?
There's definitely metal versions of the Doctor Who theme tune out there, I'm sure.
Yeah. So that was the only bit of moving footage for this episode.
Well, we might get some at the end of the story because episode 3 exists, doesn't it?
Of course, yeah.
So we might get a cliffhanger. Now, apparently, Julian Glover's outfit there is just a modified version of the outfit worn by Marco Polo.
Really?
Which is, a bit of budgetary concern there, keeping it a bit cheaper.
These look like photos of a TV screen.
They may well be. Like that is often how some of them were done.
Yeah, look, you can see the edges of the curved edges there.
Yeah. It'd be interesting if someone can give us... I did read an article on telesnaps about what makes a telesnap different to just photos. There was a guy who used a particular style of camera, I think, and technique to do it, which is why you can't just call everything a telesnap. I'm sure some people in the comments will know a lot more about it, and so I won't attempt to make up something. But I guess we have audio because people recorded audio off the telly.
Yeah, someone was saying a while back there was this guy with a crystal microphone who just recorded the audio for every episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, slightly dubious from a copyright perspective, but the BBC now love that man because it's the only... In some cases, it's the only record of the audio we have, I guess. But like, it's a pretty good quality recording, isn't it? Sounds almost as good as watching the episode.
I reckon that, well, I don't know about this one, but certainly on restored things, I reckon the BBC obviously go to town on it, don't they? But obviously they work with the audio and clean it up.
Yeah.
Now this lady on the left, I was going to say, oh, it's Jean Marsh, Thomas, Jean Marsh, but of course she hasn't been in Doctor Who yet. So this is her first appearance in Doctor Who. She's going to crop up a number of times over the years, and I think it was Jean Marsh. I think she was married to John Pertwee, the third Doctor, at one point.
Oh wow!
I think it was him.
Did they explain why she crops up multiple times in a Clara-like fashion, or is it just?
No, she's just a completely different character. So.
Right. Yeah.
Also, it struck me that Julian Glover, we talked about, what's he been in, and said Empire Strikes Back, not Razor's Last Ark, made that mistake last time, Last Crusade.
Last Crusade.
He was also in a Bond film. He was in For Your Eyes Only. I think he was the main villain.
Huh.
So. Now, apparently, there was something in the script originally where these two were supposed to... That's his sister. We're all right.
Oh.
That's his sister.
That was an interesting choice for the reconstruction. A little spinning white ring.
But there were supposed to be suggestions of a bit of incestuous relationship between them, but William Hartnell objected to it.
Oh.
And apparently, Julian Glover and Jean Marsh wanted to kind of bring that out still, even though it wasn't, in the script anymore. They wanted to try and be quite suggestive with each other, and apparently Verity Lambert told them off at one point. She was like, "Don't think I don't know what you're doing."
Wow.
So.
Stop trying to smuggle incest into a family show.
I mean, we've had sexual predators already, so why not just roll with it?
The rabbit's been let out of the hat on that front.
The rabbit's out of the hat, cat's out of the bag.
Oh, yeah, I've got the
Toothpaste is
phrase.
out of the tube. Like, we made the error here, Thomas. We should have read the synopsis beforehand. This is one of the rare cases in Western media where a TV show gets the pronunciation correct, and it should be Saladin rather than Saladin.
Saladin, okay.
Apparently so. Who knew?
Huh.
Clearly someone... This bit's ahead of its time, isn't it?
I know. What a bold, creative choice. Didn't know they had colour at this point either. They were just choosing not to use it for most of the episode.
It's a shame they didn't use Premiere Pro to help them in the production of the show, really, isn't it?
Oh, it's Planet of Giants all over again. Well, sorry about that brief intermission. Intercession.
Yeah, we're just praying. Ian looks like a superhero there.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to be knighted, is he?
No way.
In the name of God, St. Michael and St. George, we dub you Sir Ian.
He's probably not going to be able to prove that when he returns to his school. Yeah, so I was knighted by
Richard the Lionheart.
Richard the Lionheart. Do you think the show at this point is wanting us to be pro Richard?
I don't know really. I mean, I did read somewhere that story has been noted for its non-stereotypical treatment of the two opposing leaders.
Goodness sake. How many of these are there? Oh.
Premiere Pro have clearly paid for a lot of adverts. Anyway, as I was saying, this story has been noted for its non-stereotypical treatment of the two opposing leaders. Saladin, played by Bernard Kay, is portrayed as calculating but compassionate, while King Richard is portrayed as volatile and at times childish. So, apparently that's clearly not the way they're normally...
Interesting. Because I feel like in Robin Hood, often Richard the Lionheart is seen as a kind of very heroic figure.
Yeah, a wise and noble king.
Because the Crusades, I mean, they were messy, weren't they? There was a lot of wrong conducted in the Crusades.
Yeah, it was not a high point, is it?
It's interesting that, you know, even in the 60s, they're able to do quite a nuanced portrayal of it.
Yeah, given that the way often TV from this era is thought of as being unenlightened and backward.
Yeah.
There are elements where you go, oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, some of it hasn't aged well, like the the darkening of certain actors' skin.
Well, exactly, and we mentioned that last episode, so it's strange, isn't it, that you've got that strange tension going on, haven't you?
Oh, for goodness sake. What is this? There were no adverts last time we
This is
did
appalling. Like, for something that lasts, 25 minutes, to stick this many adverts in. Maybe another one. This guy is a person of colour.
Yeah.
They've hired him for a role, but other people are like, oh, we'll just black him up.
Yeah.
I think, you know, it's often characters in the background who they hire in, but main actors, they would have had kind of white actors.
Yeah. Because Lawrence of Arabia does it a bit, and even the Gandhi film, it's Ben Kingsley, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing an Indian man.
Yep.
So that's interesting that... Yeah, it was pretty normal until quite recently. Actual footage.
Here we go. Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be a good game show episode.
Great costumes and sets we were getting from the photos. They weren't colour photos, were they? They were...
No, so the Marco Polo ones must have been taken on set. Whereas these were these must be telly snaps, like someone's taken them in front of the telly. Like I say, someone maybe fill us in on all the details of that, because someone will know probably already without having to think about it too hard. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I think we made the error of not reading the synopsis beforehand. We should remember to do that on the next ones. We got really used to it on Marco Polo, but we just forgot this time that that's what we'd done.
Yeah, the main thing I got was that Ian was knighted and a party was sent to get Barbara.
Yeah, is he taking that gold belt? Is it a belt?
Yes.
And Barbara seems to have just about tried to get away there, and but then she's stopped at the last minute. Much more serious drama, isn't it, that compared to previously what we've just had on the web planet, which is neither serious nor a drama, really. Just
we've had a few people in the comments defending it, but most people seem to agree with us that it's not a high point for the show.
Anyway, well, let's wrap that one up, and because we can go on to another episode. The next one's going to be moving, so that would be maybe not just moving pictures, but moving emotionally.
Oh wow, emotion picture.
I can't back that up. I've got no idea, but like, who knows? So anyway, hope you've enjoyed that.
Knows.
Hope you've enjoyed that, guys. Let us know what you think of this episode. Give us a like and a subscribe, and join us next time for episode 3 of The Crusade. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Sorry, I'm wearing my dressing gown.
Don't wanna hold back.